Now, let us see some basic points, okay, to proceed further. There are some important terms which you will be coming across in auditing, okay. First is financial statements, okay, or sometimes it's also called general purpose financial statements, okay. What does this comprise of? It comprises of 5 elements, okay. The first is the balance sheet. The second is the profit and loss account, okay. The next is cash flow and fund flow statement. The fourth element is statement of changes in equity, if any. And the fifth element is notes to accounts. Okay, so there are 5 elements which comprises of the general purpose financial statement. So general purpose financial statement comprises of 5 elements. One is the balance sheet, the second is the P&L, third is the cash flow and the fund flow statement, the next is statement of changes in equity, if any, the next is notes to accounts, okay. Then you will also come across a terminology called FRF. What is the meaning of FRF? Financial Reporting Framework. Okay. Sometimes you will also see another word called AFRF. What is AFRF? Applicable Financial Reporting Framework. Okay. So what are the things you will see? First is FRF, which is called Financial Reporting Framework, or AFRF, Applicable Financial Reporting Framework. Now, FRF, okay, FRF comprises of 3 elements. Okay, what is FRF? Consists of 3 elements. What is this? The relevant statute. Okay, the relevant statute. What could be? It could be Companies Act, or it could be Banking Regulation Act, okay, the relevant statute. Okay, the second is the accounting standards which are necessary. Third is the guidance notes. Okay, so what are the 3 elements there in FRF? Relevant statute, accounting standards, and the guidance notes. Then we will also come across another terminology. It is called assurance. Okay, you will also come across a terminology called assurance. Now, what is the meaning of assurance? Assurance refers to trust. Okay, assurance refers to trust. In auditing, you will come across 3 types of assurance. What are they? First, okay, the first type of assurance is absolute assurance. Second is called reasonable assurance. Third is limited assurance. Okay, so there are 3 types of assurance refers to the trust. Okay, there are 3 types of assurance discussed in auditing. One is absolute assurance, the other is reasonable assurance, third is limited assurance. Okay, limited assurance means moderate level of assurance. This you would be discussing at the later part. Okay, we are concerned with these 2 as of now. One is absolute assurance, the second is reasonable assurance. What's the meaning of absolute assurance? You give a guarantee that everything is right. That is called absolute assurance, meaning 100% error free. What is the meaning of absolute assurance? You give a guarantee that everything is all right. You tell that everything is perfect, 100% error free. Then you call that assurance as absolute assurance. Now, what is the second type of assurance you give? The second type of assurance is called a reasonable assurance. What is the meaning of reasonable assurance? It is high level of assurance, but not a guarantee. Now let us come back. So normally, auditor gives which of the following assurance? Is it absolute assurance or is it reasonable assurance? Okay, so normally auditor gives only reasonable assurance. He does not give absolute assurance. So auditor gives only reasonable assurance, but not absolute assurance. Why? Auditing suffers from inherent limitation. Okay, auditing suffers from inherent limitation. Therefore, auditor can give reasonable assurance only. Okay, so this is what I have taught you in this particular lecture. So let me recall whatever we have seen. Okay, financial statements comprises of 5 things: balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, fund flow, changes in equity if any, and notes to account. FRF means financial reporting framework, or AFRF refers to applicable financial reporting framework. Okay, FRF meaning 3 things comprising relevant statute, accounting standards, guidance note. Then we come to assurance. Assurance refers to the trust. There are 3 types of assurance discussed in auditing: absolute assurance, reasonable assurance, limited assurance. Limited assurance means moderate level of assurance. Absolute assurance means 100% error-free assurance, guarantee. Or reasonable assurance refers to high level but not a guarantee. Auditors give what kind of assurance? It is reasonable assurance. It is not absolute assurance.